Howdy. The chaos machine is out of order. Hmm. It's weird. Everything looks kind of fake. It's just strange lighting. Don't mind me, I'm just smoking pot. That helps me deal with chaos. I at least get it. I sort of gain a sense of humor about it. The chaos being a given. Like it seems like chaos is sort of like contagious. Like if you spend too much time on YouTube, like you'll end up thinking there's all kinds of weird chaos happening. And then it'll like bleed into your life and you'll find there's so much chaos, and then really there wouldn't be so much chaos if you just hadn't been on YouTube for so long, neglecting your life. I'm just pulling this shit out of my ass. I don't even know if it's worth listening to. Don't mind me. Sometimes when I get my mouth going, though, I end up getting to something good. So you kind of have to hang in there with me. Well, calla lily bloomed. Well, that's beautiful. Something good happened. Let's see. I'll share it with you. Look at that beautiful thing. Oh, how cute. Hi, calla lily. Looking good. Mm-hmm. What I did here is hey, Justina. I ran our gray water from our house down underneath the dirt here, and then I have a little pipe that comes out right there, like right below where the calla lily is, and also all the gray water comes out right there. And I dug these two huge holes and I filled them with gravel because it used to flow out into the street, and it wasn't really a good scene. But what I did was I planted these horsetails. You did all these those little fucking things that stand up, all those plants that, it's like all these little, what horsetails are. You're a plant lover. And they did really well there because I was looking for something that does good in like a swampy environment. And I noticed pretty much most things do well there. And it's funny because we've had like volunteers because our gray water comes out right there. So it's like whenever we're washing dishes or whatever in the sink upstairs, like seeds, like, like tomatoes, like I've had tomatoes pop up there and some other plants too, but like just volunteers that come up and it's like, I never put any tomato seeds there, but they must have come through the drain, from like washing dirty dishes or whatever. And it's just weird how that shit happens. I think it's cool. And you get some volunteers. Now we had a bunch of volunteers out here this year because we grew a bunch of tomatoes here last year, and just a lot of them ended up rotting on the ground, kind of like they're doing now. And you kind of create a cycle. It's like, I think that's kind of how we're supposed to do things, just you grow some food and then you just kind of you let some of it fall on the ground and rot, and that way it's sort of perpetuating the cycle. And if it's something that doesn't do well in that area, well, you might get 1 year out of it and then it doesn't grow again next year. But like if it keeps growing like we have going on here, like you kind of don't really need to do much, you just let it fucking do its thing. You come out here and you eat the food when it's ready and you just let it rot on the ground when you've had enough, and fucking it perpetuates the cycle of life. I heard some talk that when we first started colonizing North America, you know, what led to a United States of America, like our history, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But like, I heard that when they first came here, they were marveling at the fact that the place had been sort of caretaken in a way where it was like there were parts of the country where you could walk for days on end, and it was just like there's always going to be some sort of food available. Like there was the way it was sort of, it wasn't like it was like somebody's garden, but the way the place had been tended to, there was like there was food sources everywhere. Like you could walk for days and not even have to carry any food on your back because there was just so much food available as you went about your walk. There'd be like a tree here that has fruit, and it's just sort of set up in a way where it's like it was sort of like a paradise in that sense. It was sort of like a, but I think what was going on is that there was natives, that were living here. That's what the story says. It's like there was people already living here, and they thought they were in India. That's how well they knew their way around. And so that's a whole different topic. But there was people already living here, and they weren't like they weren't advanced people with sailboats and fucking all the things that the settlers came with. They were sort of like, it was a different culture. It was a cultures colliding. And obviously the settlers were, they're assholes. And they wanted to like, they thought they were like, yeah, we're coming up. We found this cool spot now. I was like, great. And there's all these people here already, but like, this is ours. We found it. It's like, no. If there's people here already, then you didn't find it. You sort of have to, accept reality. But no, they don't like doing that. And so I think what was going on is that these people that were like nomadic, these people that were already living here, and they were kind of cruising around. I mean, there was a lot of infrastructure here already, I think. I mean, I've seen evidence that shows that. Um, and I'm one of these guys that gets into the old world conversation. Like I'm not a hater. I think that's a pretty cool topic. A lot of it is speculation. You have to understand that, because we're just looking at stuff that doesn't check out. And so naturally you're going to want to speculate and start thinking like, how in the fuck is this going on? Like how is this like incredible architecture being done without any real like, we don't have any like anything to sink our teeth into. Like these people, that the story they give you for it is like, so and so built this palace basically in 1840 or whatever, and like it took him a year to build, while he was building 100 other ones in fucking various other states. It's like, but they don't tell you where he went to school to learn to build like that, or where he sourced all the materials, how many. You don't get any details, and it's like, it's not that long ago. So it starts to sort of wear on you after a while. Like you find these amazing, incredible architecture, and it's like, and it just boggles the mind, and you want to know more about it, and then you find that there's not much information about it, and then the more you look, the more you find that there's just information that doesn't check out. Like the dates will be wrong, or they won't match some other information somewhere else, or the story is just really hard to believe. I mean, you can't build something that incredible with such a short period of time. Like, where did you source all the material? I mean, just the sourcing and planning alone would have taken fucking years. And so you start to see that most of the stories with these specific type of buildings, this architecture, it doesn't check out. The stories just don't give you enough, and it's like, and it just becomes suspect. I mean, the closer you look, the more you see that it doesn't check out. I mean, obviously somebody built them, they're there. And I would think that it was people, right? Because it looks like they were built for people. A lot of this stuff, though, looks like it was built for giant people. And that's where we can get into a whole other, area of this discussion. But like, it just seems to me like, the 1700s, and like, or just like when we were supposed to have gotten here in the 1400s, late beginning of the 1500s or whatever. It was sort of like there was still this vibe of like exploration. Good morning. Good morning. That's what's up. Although I'm not mourning. Oh yeah. Just getting some sun. Yeah. That doesn't suck. Yeah. Thanks for the rolling papers, man. Yeah, I don't know. You guys like talking about the old world shit? Marble, yeah. That's fucking insane, dude. Like there's a lot of flat earthers that don't like that topic, and I can understand why. I totally get it. Because flat Earth is more of like a science, or just like it's a topic that's like that's going beyond civilization, really. I mean, well, kind of in a sense where it's like it's more about just truth, about like just realizing what's going on, or are just trying to fucking like see through bullshit. Really, it's on the same topic, really, in that sense. But it's like I can see how people, they're kind of purists about it, or it's like, we're talking about this specific idea that we don't live on a globe that's spinning through the vacuum of space or whatever, and to bring up some other thing that's sort of, you know, that doesn't have any like definitive answer you can put, that you can actually like sink your teeth into, like I say. It sort of is a, it kind of cuts people off at the knees a little bit. You can't really go anywhere with it. It's like, well, fuck. So what? Our history is a total joke. I mean, yeah, everything else is. Everything they teach you in school. I mean, the only thing they really got is math. I mean, there's some good literature they feed you, but it's most of it's predictive programming. Whatever. Maybe that's just how the reality plays out. It's like I don't think it's any coincidence that all the books that I had to read when I was in high school had to deal with exactly what's about to happen in our civilization right now. It's sort of like, let's get you used to this idea because this is what's coming. It's what's already been planned out. We're just spoon feeding it to you. But yeah, I mean, I was talking about the 1500s, and I think it's so interesting to me. Maybe, I mean, you have to sort of just like accept that a lot of the stuff that people think is conspiratorial is actually organic in a sense, because people are people. I mean, like, there's only so much planning you can do, but I think some of the planning, quote unquote, is actually not human. Like, some of it just seems so stark contrast to what the human experience is, and why would you plan something like that if you were a human? I could get into that, but I probably will because I just go all over the map here. But I'm talking about something specific, which is like I find it interesting or just entertaining to think that like it wasn't that long ago, because I've almost lived 50 years. That's half of 100, and my life seems pretty small and in the whole big picture. But 100 years, we're talking centuries at a time here. It's like, so 400 years ago, like we were just now discovering this place. Like it's only a few people's lifetimes. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so there wasn't supposed to be anything here at that point in time. It was just fresh fucking open canvas. I mean, look how much shit there is now. Have you ever flown over the country? There's a lot of open space, but I'm saying there's a lot of fucking stuff, man, that's happening that's not that long of a period of time when you think like how much have I gotten accomplished in my life? What did I do to contribute to the general like progression of civilization? I mean, it's like not much really. Yet, I mean, my mind, I'm contributing my thoughts. That's about all I got right now. But like, each lifetime that passes, there's like some considerable amount of progress that a civilization makes. And to have it only been like 5 or 6 lifetimes later, and here we are with all this stuff going on, all these cities, and you think it's like it really would take some foresight to have like to have set up these cities the way they're set up, and with the ports and with the bays and with the fucking the infrastructure with the trains and the fucking all the all the resources, the quarries, the mines, there's a lot of fucking things that had to have happened, and it would had to have happened pretty quick when you think about it. I mean, we don't really get our history explained to us as thoroughly as we would probably need if we want to actually believe it when we start thinking critically later in life. Because I don't remember hearing any point in time in our history where there was just this fucking renaissance of like, Freemasonry, where it's just like these masons that were building these incredible, like it's maybe they went over. I don't. It seems like it's something that we should have gone over, because I mean, there's so much of it in every city, and it's like this era of like this brilliant artistry that was going into that architecture, and it's like it was so amazing, and like it just gets overshadowed by all this other garbage. I mean, it's like, have we really fallen that far? Like, it opens a conversation where it's like, did we even really build that shit? Like, I mean, yeah, we're supposed to. I get it. We were supposed to have, but like, and they say when it was supposed to have been built, but it's like I don't remember hearing about that in history. Like, we were such modest means. Abraham Lincoln was born in a Lincoln log, fucking Abraham Lincoln log, fucking house or whatever. It's like, while there was fucking brilliant, like, incredible palaces being designed. I mean, at the same time, like, what the fuck, man? Like 1849, the 49ers is when they started, mining for gold out here in California. San Francisco was a sprawling fucking city like 20 years later. It was like, I'm like talking like, I mean, that's a lot of fucking progress to have occurred in just not like, not that long of a period of time. It's like you come out here gold mining, there's like a bunch of gold mining, fucking card playing, gambling, fucking rough and rowdy, gun slinging, cathedral building cowboys. I don't know. There's something missing in that. There's some kind of one of these things doesn't belong. We've done some research. Me and my girlfriend have done research about San Francisco, or she was doing it, but she kind of dragged me along through it because it was super fascinating. She was researching the earthquake that happened there. I mean, we don't even believe there's an earthquake that happened there now. Me and her, and I wouldn't have thought that if it wasn't for her research. I mean, there's so much fucking weird shit, dude. The history. I mean, it's like if you just read it objectively, or maybe even like critically. Critical thinking. It's like when you're being critical of something, you have to understand it's not neutral thinking. When you're being critical of something, you're actually being sort of looking at it sort of like, like you're sort of, it's not neutral at all. You're looking at it like, is this bullshit? That's what critical thinking, because neutral thinking would be like, okay, let's listen to what you have to say. Like ready for anything. Make your judgments later. I'm not judging yet. Critical thinking is more like, this is probably going to be a line of bullshit, but yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it, That's what being critical of somebody is. So when you think about it, that's what critical thinking must be. It's like you're looking at it like it's bullshit already, So that you have to understand that's what, if you want to be critical, you can't just be like, yeah, the earth is rising up at like this. Really? I'm looking at that like, no, I don't think so. Like maybe, but like, I don't think so. So like, show me something. Like, how in the fuck did you come to that conclusion? And it starts getting all confusing and complicated, and there's all these weird ideas and bubbles rising and helium balloons going one way and apple rolling this way, and before you know it, you've wasted like half your day, and you're just like, wait, what? Like, you're right, there's some things I don't quite understand or have answers ready for, but like a slinky glued to a fucking ping pong ball and a bottle of water, fall, the slinky goes up, it's like there's no buoyancy in free fall. I was like, well, no, the slinky got pushed up because it's falling. Similar to like if we were in an elevator and the elevator started falling, we'd probably rise to the ceiling. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Maybe that's what would happen. But they're like, oh, look, there's no buoyancy in free fall. Well, sure there is. Have you ever seen a feather fall? I mean, it's buoyant, right? It doesn't just drop. They're like, well, you're weightless in free fall. I'm like, no, I'm not. Where do they get this shit? If I was weightless, I wouldn't be in free fall. I wouldn't even be. It's like, I mean, things that have weight are things, right? I mean, it gets kind of to the point where like this is sort of like existential, I don't know, extrasensational. It's a word that I can't think of. It's sort of beyond reality. Like, I mean, it gets to the point where you're like, well, he's so strange. Like the evidence, speaks for itself. The physics, why are you denying physics? I'm like, no, I'm just saying it doesn't look like it's moving. That's kind of how I got to where I was and kind of where I've stayed. Because like for me, I've said this before, the flat earth is just about being honest. I know what all the correct answers are supposed to be, all right? I'm not stupid. It's not about being stupid. It's just about being honest. If I had to be 100% honest, I'd say, yeah, I treat the earth like it's flat and stationary. I know it's embarrassing to say that, but even a pilot landing a jet does. I mean, basically, if somebody that important has to treat the earth like it's flat and stationary, has to, must, and does, and is successfully doing so, then that's how you should probably explain the place, If people land their jet airplanes under the assumption that the earth is flat and non-rotating, and they successfully do so every time, well, that's probably how you should explain the place as being, because that's how you're treating it. Let's just level with me, okay? I mean, maybe it's all those other things that you say, but the math simplified ends up being a not flat, non-rotating earth. Just accept it. There might be a bunch of other shit going on, I realize that. But as far as we're all concerned, there isn't. It's just about being honest. I mean, can you accept that? I can accept that maybe you're right about all that other shit, all right? I'm not going to say you're wrong. But what I'm going to say is, it sure as fuck ain't my reality, So that's not what I'm experiencing. So I've just come to terms with that, and I'm, It could be happening like that, but why would you have to fake it? I mean, if you believe the ISS shit, you're not thinking critically. Let's put it that way. You have to come at it like it's bullshit already, and then look at it. Don't come at it like it's neat science. Let's see how progressive, how great we are, and then look at it. You know, you're gonna just be like, wow, look, they're playing right into what I thought was cool about us. I want to be like that. No, you have to look at it like, no, this is probably a line of bullshit. You look at it and like, look at their fucking hairspray hair. What the fuck? That's not gravity. That's just an ugly hairdo. You have to look at it like that. Otherwise, you're not going to see it. And it's like, and if it's that easy to look at it like that and continually do so for 10 years now, it's like, then maybe it is that, you know, like, because if it was real, genuine shit, and we were looking at it like being critical of it, and then just after a while, the critical, you know, the things we were making fun of sort of wore off, and it still looked pretty real, actually. You know, like if you have to understand, like if something's real, the truth just speaks for itself. You know, it's like it doesn't need defense. Like if they're really doing that, you know, then why does their hair look like that? Because that's fake, dude. That's some hairspray right there, bro. It's just an ugly hairdo. That's not gravity. Give me a break. And their story doesn't check out. They're like, we're in a low G environment. But then they tell you we're in a free fall around the earth. Okay, so like a free fall. So you're falling. So that's still G as far as I'm concerned. And like they'll admit that they have to use little boosters. So it's like maybe they really have something up there. I don't know, but their story doesn't even. It's like so if they're in a controlled free fall, then they're actually experiencing, you know, what those fucking vomit comments are. It's like you're not even really experiencing low G. You're just simulating what you think low G would be like, where you're like kind of floaty. But that's only because the entire environment that you're in is moving with you. So it's like you seem like you're floating, but you're not really floating. So if it's just a controlled free fall, then what they're doing is simulating this low G idea where they look like they're floating in space or whatever. This idea. It's not even really a reality. If they can't really achieve that idea without a controlled free fall, I mean that's kind of a weird thing to basically what you're saying is when we're doing these floating things that we do, these floaty stunts, we're in a controlled free fall. Yeah, we know that already. That's how they do the fucking vomit comment. So they give you the, you know, you can tell when someone's full of shit when they fucking spoon feed you some truth in a situation where it's like, that's supposed to be something different going on there, actually. You're supposed to be far enough away from Earth to where the pull of gravity isn't working the same as it was before. And so now you're kind of floaty. But if it's a fucking controlled free fall, then that's not what the fuck you're saying it is. You know, that's deceptive. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, but like maybe Neil deGrasse would explain his way out of that one. But like, you know, so you start seeing some shit like that where it's like, man, I don't know. That's kind of weird. And if you watch enough of the ISS videos, you'll know for a fact if you think critically that it's fucking bullshit. A lot of those videos look real, where they're giving you tours and stuff, and it might be real, and it might be Hollywood. You can't really say whether or not it is. You've seen a movie before, right? Where they look like they're doing things that, you know, it looks real, but it's a movie. It's fake, right? Yeah, but you know it's fake. It's a movie. So you walk out of the movie theater thinking, "Oh, that was cool," you know, knowing that it was fake. Okay, so now just look at the ISS footage that you think is real with that same perspective. Maybe they're just making a movie. You have to understand that that's a possibility. You're watching it on TV, okay? So just remember that that's a possibility. Maybe they're full of shit, you know? What's stopping them from being full of shit? Nothing. There's plenty of people that are full of shit with agendas and doing weird shit. It's completely possible that it's a big fucking hoax. It's totally a possibility. And that all the governments that are doing it are in on it. I know that seems like a stretch, but dude, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna sound like a upwards earther when I say this, but the evidence speaks for itself. I'm like, really? The evidence does speak for itself? The upwards earth? Really? So when I jump off a cliff into a lake, I'm just losing momentum. I'm not really falling into the water. And that seems like evident to you. I mean, I think they're being honest, which is what's fucked up. So it's like, just imagine how you can program your mind to see this reality. I mean, the thing is, there's plenty of people that still think they're on a globe flying through the universe, and like I don't. And so we have completely different worldviews, but it all breaks down to the same fucking thing we're all experiencing. You know, it all simplifies right down into a flat, non-rotating Earth. I know it's embarrassing, but that's what it all boils down to. Like even the upwards Earthers have to admit that, like, okay, but yeah, we don't have to account for this upwards thing. It's just because it's all contained in the same system. We understand how it operates. I mean, we treat it like it's stationary, basically. Or it's, if you want to just think on the inverse, you could treat it like it's not you dribbling the basketball, but it's the Earth dribbling the basketball. But like, that's kind of not as evident as the other way around. I just is it just like more chaos out of order? Like I think we had the fucking. I thought we got there with the flat and stationary Earth. I'm like, okay, that's just the that's just the basic. Like that's just the honest reality of it all. Okay, all those other things could be happening, but just the honest truth is, yeah, it's just flat stationary. I thought we'd already gotten down to this simple brass tacks here. Like, what are we trying to go with this upwards? Where do you? Yeah, the upwards Earth does debunk the globe, but it also sounds completely ridiculous to people that haven't become indoctrinated into it somehow. I can't bring myself to do it. I've given it a fair shot because I'm a freak. I'll listen to some shit that seems whack because I just want to understand why people are doing that. That's how I became a flat earther. But like the upwards Earth shit, man, that's just, you got to admit that seems whack, right? But there's plenty of like clear-headed seeming people that talk perfectly logically about everything else that believe this shit. So that's why I'm really stubbornly not giving up on it yet. But it's like I honestly, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, and I don't as far as like how they seem to be just adamantly defending it. I mean, I see what they're saying in the sense where it could be the complete opposite of what it looks like is happening. You can look at it from that. They're like, you don't really have weight. Weight is just the result of something pushing against something else. Because if you were on an elevator and it was pushing you up faster than if you were just standing, you actually weigh more so they have some good arguments, but it's like, okay, but like, how do we really prove it? And they say they have all these tests that prove it. I've watched all the tests and I'm still not convinced. So maybe we're just like, I think the only application of that knowledge would be to debunk the globe, and so because of that, I'm actually, you know, I don't have a problem with it, but I also I have a problem understanding it. Me and Jaron were. I think I saw Jaron was starting. Like basically, where Jaron's head's at is usually where my head's at. Although, I think he did kind of fuck up when he said that if. Although I do understand though, where he said if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, he knows what he's talking about. He's like, then the globe model kind of does check out, and just as far as that's concerned, that's what he should have specified. Like just as far as that whole thing is concerned, because it still poses plenty of other problems that we've already gone over for the past 10 years. But he should have just specified it. As far as that observation is concerned, that the globe model does check out if that's what he saw down there. And I mean, I don't maybe see the thing is, it's like if people got all freaked out when he said that. See how people hang on their words. It's like he's just a dude saying some shit. Like it shouldn't have caused such a rift in the community. But like, it's not a community. Hello, we're a percentage of the population now. Flat Earth. I know there's only 4 people watching me. That's not even a percentage of the community. But like, as far as Flat Earth is concerned, it's not just our little crowd. The people that we go to channels, and there's a lot of people doing this now, man. It's a big percentage of the population. A lot of people don't bother watching shows after they figure it out. They're just like, yeah, all right, learn that, carry on. So it's just because it seems like it's a small community on YouTube. It's not really that. I think it's like a percentage of the population, and it's more and more people now. You're starting to hear about it in more and more places where it's like there's like a fucking a person in the cabinet at like some government, like I think it was the Czech Republic. He was quoted as saying, "I'm not convinced that the Earth is a globe." He's like, "I would have to go to space basically to think to realize that that's true." Because as far as I'm concerned, it's still flat and stationary. This is a dude in the government. And it was up on the world stage. His remarks were being heard by the world. So it's not like you can just throw that shit away. Like it's leaking. It's like this shit is like maybe it was started. Maybe it was a controlled release of information. I have no idea. I think Eric Dubé is kind of sus, but whatever. I haven't made my final judgment on him yet. I think he's kind of just sus, though. He seems weird. There's something about him that seems sus to me. I think I'm just more of a type of personality like Jaren, where I'm just like, I just look at things critically now because I just don't trust things now that I've seen how distrustworthy everything is. And like, so usually what he's saying, I usually agree with. And the reason I say that is because he was watching this Upwards Earth yesterday, and I saw, I'm paying close attention. I'm hanging on his words. It's like because I do tend to agree with where his headspace is at. I'm just like, and I saw he was actually kind of getting it, but he kept saying he kept taking the words out of my mouth. I'm just watching the show, and he was just like, and I'm ready to say something, like not that they could hear me on the show, but and then he would say it. I'm like, like I'm right there with him, okay, and so it got to the point by the end of the show where like he had actually gone a step further than me, and he's like, okay, there's some things that you're right about that don't check out here. Like you're right. I gotta think about this, so it really caught me off guard because I'm usually right there with him as we're going through stuff, and so I got to say that kind of like threw me for a loop because I usually get, I mean, wherever his head's at, I can usually get there, and it's usually pretty logical. That's why I'm still like I still follow that channel where a lot of people think he's a shill or a government agent or something. But whatever he is, like I can relate to what he's thinking usually. But like, and then that really kind of threw me for a loop when he was like, "Okay, there might be something here." I'm like, oh fuck, dude! Because the whole time I was just like, "Man, I'm not getting it," and Jaron would be like, "Man, I'm not getting it." He was just like, but by the end of it, he was saying that I was like, "Whoa, man, I didn't see that coming." So I gotta. So there's weird little thing, like little like hints of this thing maybe being real, But it's like, but I still I'm not gonna accept it. Not yet. No, no way. I don't. And when I say yet, that means like I'm basically going to at some point. But I just don't understand how these guys could have gotten so thoroughly wrapped up in this. Like people that seem pretty clear headed on every other subject, if there isn't something to it, So it's like, that's kind of a fallacy way to think, but it's like you're just thinking logically, like, why are these people so in defense of this idea? It seems just crazy, and I think it's just, there must be something to it, is all I'm saying. Yet, I don't think the application of that knowledge would be even really worth mentioning other than debunking our current fucking accepted cosmology, which is I've already fucking thrown that out, but like a lot of people haven't. And so maybe if they think that they could somehow get through to your average person and like prove to them that this debunks the globe, but it's like, I think the average person is going to be more inclined to accept the flat and stationary Earth versus the upwards and flat Earth. That's a step further, in the crazy direction as far as the way everybody thinks normally. It's like, so I don't think I don't think they're as clear headed in that sense where they're thinking like this debunks the globe, and I'm like, yeah, but that's a step crazier than where we were already. Like people think flat and stationary Earth is fucking nuts, but then to say flat and upwards rising Earth, I mean that's just like a step further in the nuts. I mean, that's just like, well, never mind, like fuck all this kind of thing. I think it maybe like makes less flat earthers is what I'm thinking, but they really adamantly think this is the best debunk of the globe. It's like, but it sort of debunks what I thought about Earth. But so it's kind of like frustrating. It's sort of like it makes me feel like this kind of this thing where it's like a chaos out of order. Like I was perfectly content before all this. Ah. Maybe keep it simple, just be honest. It doesn't feel like it's moving up. So let's just stay honest. I mean, if I see something that's convincing, I'll say it's convincing. Let's just put it that way. But right now, your bubbles can do all kinds of weird shit. I'm not going to say I know that it makes the Earth moving up. It's such an extreme conclusion to come to based on some silly little, demonstration. Like I said, like they glue a slinky to a ping pong ball, and it's in a bottle of water, and so the ping pong ball is floating on the water, so the heavy part of the slinky drops down in the water, you know. And they say, look, it's a buoyancy gradient. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's clever. I mean, are you with me so far? So then they take the bottle of water and then they drop it and videotape it and then slow it down. And while the bottle's falling, the slinky compresses. So they're like, look, it's closed back up while it's falling. So that's evidence that there's no buoyancy in free fall because they're like, it's a buoyancy gradient. You know, I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's clever. I think that's probably true. And then when they drop it, the buoyancy gradient disappears because the slinky compresses. And so they're like, look, there's no buoyancy in free fall. And it's like, well, I see your conclusion now, and I see how you got there. But let's think about this for a second. Your statement, there's no buoyancy in free fall, I don't know if that checks out. Because, like, haven't you seen, like, a dandelion seed floating by? I mean, it's buoyant, right? So just think about it. So why did let's think your evidence for there being no buoyancy in free fall? Well, the slinky compressing. Okay, I get it because that buoyancy gradient that you had before you dropped it wasn't there anymore. The buoyancy gradient being the slinky having sunk to the bottom while still being attached to the top. So the heavier part of the slinky sinks down, and it's stretched out. So it's a buoyancy gradient. All right, but the thing is, the slinky compressing. Okay, what's going on here? The bottle's falling. It wasn't falling before, so the slinky was stretched out. But now it's falling, and the slinky compresses. Okay, well, think about it. If you're in an elevator, it's kicking it, not going anywhere, and then the elevator started to free fall, I'm imagining the elevator is probably heavier than you. So I'm thinking you might rise to the ceiling if you were falling in it. Am I wrong? Am I right? Just help me out here. I'm trying to understand things. Like if you were just standing in an elevator and then someone cut the cable and you just started falling, like I think you would probably rise up off the floor. I'm thinking, you probably do some NASA tricks while you're at it, do a little somersault in the air. And so therefore, I'm led to believe that when we're falling down, there's sort of some pressure, like we're being pushed up a little bit. Like if the environment we're in is falling down. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this shit out. So it's like, so just think about that in the case where, like, say you were a slinky in a water bottle. Well, like, you're going to rise up, because it's like your environment's falling. So now you're going to rise up. So that's all that's happening there. The slinky is just rising up because it's same how we would if we were in an elevator and it started to fall. It's not that the buoyancy gradient disappeared necessarily. I mean, there is something to that, but it's like the slinky itself constricting, it's probably just the motion of the downward momentum that's pushing it back up. It's not that the buoyancy disappeared necessarily. It's just the slinky can do that. And that's what's cool about a slinky, Did you forget what we're working with here? And it's like, so that kind of thing makes me think that, like, if I can explain that in another way that doesn't have to accept, like, the whole world moving up, like, why wouldn't you just sort of, like, try some other possibilities before you come to this other fucking extreme conclusion first? So with shit like that, I'm just like, come on, man, get out of here. Get out of here with that shit. So when I see shit like that, I'm just like, it's a turnoff, because I think it's so conclusive, but it's like, well, maybe that combined with something else that's a little more believable. But right there, that seems sort of deceptive to me. Like, I don't know, maybe, am I wrong? Is anybody even listening to me? It's all good. You don't have to listen to me. Just stare at my beauty. Yeah, so the Earth rising up, it seems to be like more of this kind of chaos out of order kind of shit, where it's like, I was fine before that came along. Why do we got to start thinking all that nonsense? That shit's just chaos. I mean, it could be true, I guess, but it might as well not be true because we don't got to account for it. The only application for that knowledge would be to debunk the current fucking accepted cosmology, which is like already debunked in my mind. But more power to you if that's your only, like, objective. I mean, yeah, go for it, do it. I mean, if that's what you think's going on there, we're on the same team as far as that's concerned. But they're trying to tell me that my belief is a psyop, and that's what I don't like. Thank you, baby. I love you. Wow, look at this. I love you. Thank you, baby. Ah, that's good. Are you guys upwards earthers? Yes, science. We're like seance. It's not science, it's seance. We're conducting a seance experiment. What's up, Jeremy Bird? Creek Mary. Justina, nice to see all ya. Anybody else in here? Saddle Bum. No Saddle Bum. Oh, there's Saddle Bum. Right on. Fuck yeah. Nice to see all you guys. Who else is here? What is this? Oh no. Plants and Blue. That's Justina. Plants and Blue, you're a pretty popular channel. I didn't realize you had such a following. That's cool. Don't you have like several thousand subs? That's pretty good. You must have really been. I mean, you got cute videos, I gotta admit. Kids are adorable. Plants in Blue. That's cute. After years and years of what appears to be research, dirty work, digging in the earth, reworking things for what it's worth. It seems we found out that there's nothing to find out. The fact is we don't know the facts. The fact is we don't know the facts. But we've been acting like we do for so long now. And it's hard to backpedal with your foot in your mouth. So we're just waiting for everyone to figure it out. If I could go back in time and have a word with myself, I'd tell myself to settle down. Don't lose your cool. Try not to break too many rules. And when you do, you better have a better poker face on. Your part, so don't play it with all your heart. Don't start looking like some kind of has-been that never was. You're gonna take some time off your feet, so you better try not to miss a beat. 'Cause forward is the only way through. it goes. You can tell now how much I really care. That's why I'm here now and I'm no longer over there. I know that style, yes, I've seen that style before, but it's like a style that's not in style anymore. Although these days everything's been redone, rerun, rehashed, revamped, thrown back in your face again and again to see if it can fly, but it can't. As if they didn't make enough cash on the flip, now they're gonna keep going back to it. It's like this one-hit wonder that never really hit. This gets overplayed. I hope you had a nice weekend. I don't mean to dumpster dive off the deep end. It's just gets on my nerves when I keep doing the same shit over and over. I'd rather hear some people think, speak, and do something new. Think, speak, teach, try to believe in something true. Think, speak, reach, do something new. Cause time's catching up with you. After years and years and years, what appears to be research, dirty work, digging in the earth, reworking things for what it's worth. It seems we found out that there's nothing to find out. Nothing? I don't believe in nothing, man. I believe in something. I don't believe in nothing. How could you believe in nothing? It's not a thing. There's nothing there. Zero. There's zero there. It's like zero. That's what was there before you were there. Zero is who you were before you were. Like, oh, I remember back before I was here. Like, I was zero. Zero is where you are after you're here, I guess. I don't know if that's true, though. There's like that much more mass that's been added, you know. The bones that you leave behind wasn't there before. So I wouldn't say that's zero. So I've been from zero to here, not from here to zero, I guess. I say I've been from here to zero, then that means I'm thinking about things completely backwards, which I tend to do. I've been from here to zero, although I don't believe it exists. I insist that there's no such thing as nothing, but all the same, I guess it would be logical to claim once more that 2024 years ago, we were living in the year zero. And that's the year that we were waiting on for so long, as we counted counted backwards in a long line of negative numbers. In the era of BC, we kept track of time in reverse. It was such a curse. We didn't know how long ago we had started. We just knew that we'd end up at zero eventually. And after a long wait, it felt great to be living in year zero. You see, we don't know what history really could show, and it's always being superimposed on the present, and we can't ever learn our lesson if we can't go back and find a way that we got right here. There's always things that have occurred that led us to be where we are right now. And I just don't know anyone better than I know my friend Zero. Although I can't wrap my mind around this also elusive idea of nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nihilism. Denialism. I can't even try to begin. Zeroing in. I feel like it's all been zeroed out. But I won't pout about this, 'cause it's too late now. We've come so far from zero. From zero. From here to zero. Although I don't believe it exists. My favorite part at the end. I don't believe it exists. I don't believe it exists. I made that song up on the spot one day. I was sitting here playing, and I was like noticing that there was zero people watching me. So I'm like, zero. I've been from here to zero. And I started playing that song. I didn't even put any thought into it. I just started playing it. And fortunately, I was recording on YouTube because it came out exactly how I played it just now. And I'm like, I listened to it later. I'm like, man, that's actually a fucking song. It's like complete. What the fuck am I doing? This is great. So I memorized how I did it, and that's how I can play it exactly how it came out of me that day when I just improvised. So that's why I appreciate the song. I mean, people might be like, where the fuck are you coming up with this shit? When you sat there and wrote this song, what a weird song. No, I didn't sit there and write the song. I sit there and played it. Just I pull it out of the ether, man. It's just, there's a song. There you go. You don't have to like it, but it's there. I'm just showing you. Like songs, they write themselves if you really know what you're doing. Like the idea, you just have to sort of, there's the idea, zero, and just kind of go with it. I mean, like everybody's got their own song to sing about zero, if you really think about it. And they're already there. You just have to notice it. Everybody's life is a song. Everybody's an artist in that way. Everybody's got rhythm, otherwise they'd be dead. Sometimes it seems like you don't have rhythm, but you do, thank God. That's called the spark of life. That's, thank God. And you can thank God for that one because that's who gave it to you. we can't go any further than that. We could say, oh well, it just actually was this big accident that happened. It's big happy stance, happy accidents, happy stance, happenstance, happy dance. We just do this happy accident thing, and we just ended up here. And that's why we got to make certain like modifications on our genome every once in a while, just so we can, keep up to date with things. So just contact the CDC about any guidelines you must be following to update your genetics, so you'll be fit to like handle the world and the environment around you that you've created for yourself in your imagination from watching TV. Cheers. Have a nice vaccine. We're in Safeway last night, and it's like the lady comes on, hello, shoppers. And I'm like, oh, here we go with the vaccines. It's like, I can't help but just say it out loud now. It's like, that's probably what's on everybody's mind. Hello, shoppers. Oh, okay, here we go with the vaccine pitch. It's like, dude, it didn't used to be like that. Everybody's got to be aware of that. You didn't used to have to get fucking, haggled into getting a needle in your arm every time you went shopping. You'll get 10% off your discount at groceries. Yeah. Oh, so all I got to do is just go volunteer to be a part of this big science experiment, and you can inject something into me. None of us know what the fuck it is, and we'll just see what happens. And I get 10% off my groceries. So let me guess, you probably marked them up 30%. So basically, I'm still spending money, and you're still making money, and now I'm part of a science experiment. Well, what a win-win for everybody. I might not even make it out of the store. Never really know. Well, only one in however many shots kills somebody. Oh, okay, great. So, like, if somebody handed you a parachute and you're like, oh, only one of these parachutes in however many millions doesn't open. But here, have a nice parachuting experience. Well, when was the last one that happened that didn't open? I don't know. Why didn't it open? Oh, it's just, that's how it is. It's just chance. Maybe I don't want to go parachuting. Maybe I think I won't. You're supposed to tell me they all open. Oh, man. Like only one Tesla in every 25,000 blows up in a huge firestorm that you can't put out with water. Only one in however many 100,000 will back you up into a pond and lock all the doors and windows so you die and drown, even though there was people there trying to save you. Only one smart car in every has negative intentions for your life. Can I just go ahead with one of those manual cars? I'll get the manual roll-up windows too. I don't want any smart in my car. Smart, that doesn't sound so smart to me anymore. What does smart stand for anyways? It's not smart, is it? Well, it stands for surveillance, monitoring, analysis, reporting technology, of course. Would you like to carry one with you everywhere you go? I don't know. So what do I get out of it? Oh, well, you're online. But you got to finish that statement, though. And online's on you. You're online. You can communicate with everybody in the world. And they can communicate with you. And do things in your pocket. Monitor you and analyze you and survey you and report it and technology you. Nah, it doesn't sound like such an attractive idea anymore. I think I'll just leave it at home. Do you mind? Are you sure? You might get in an accident and need to call for help. I'll use a call box. Those are smart too. I looked at my book just now, and what I read was Overton's windows wide open. Wide open cages get closed. Nobody's nose smelled that scent backwards. Down comforters switched off. Loose can on sale. Boats, spring leaks. Goose, goose, duck. Unfuckability, rewired wireless. Why are lessons not tied too tight? Rope swingers. Full grown, full moan. Right field, left, right, wrong answers. Stop watching clocks. formless orphans filed lawsuits. Pediatricians peed on electrical fences in pain. That's what that page said. I swear I wasn't just pulling it all out of my ass right now. I pulled it out of my ass earlier and wrote it down. For some reason, this means something. It does. It's a means to an end. End it. Up is the new down. Tooth and nail fighters are foaming at the mouth, ready to drop links and sling ad hom dishes garnished with impenetrable charades. Defrauded fruitcake, strong arm, harmless remarks in haste. Self-serving evidence, impunity upon agreement. Boundless looming. The sound of one spanner rebounds in glee. To unfighting, up is the new down. To infighting, up is the new down. Blind is the new sight. Sounds of violins playing while upwards meeting. No, let's see. Sounds of violins playing while upwards inmates lament weightlessly meeting the ground. Crowned victoriously. Kareem Kareened Abdul-Jabbar. I could go on, but why? You'll be a while. That's the first thing on the next page. Stool pigeons listen intently while whirling dervishes and fidget spinners hum to the hue of a man's essence. Wishing wells absorb spare change, unaware of their disposition. Holy roller coasters, rooftop binocularists, top dogs greet underdogs, while the in-betweener wiener dogs draw blood from ankles, while the adjoining foot kicks them into the long log ride canal. It's why all the whiles, it's concerning to see the lack of concerning attorneys earning arms and legs. Faucets drip, drops in sink, in sinks, in sink sinkholes, sinkhole homes. The volatile molecule agitates and rotates. Can of mace, and suddenly it's too late. Lightening his load felt like being struck by thunder. His one-way journey is how he rolls, knowing full well without trolls there'd be no bridges for him to be burning. You gotta make an earning. Wherever there's an itch, you can scratch out a living. As you impart with a partial smile, disperse into your world of denial. Like a head-on collision. Oh yeah, a head-on collision. Colliding in the wake of your decision. It's a head-on collision. Spyglass specs can do a far-off train wreck before they meet in a head-on collision. Head-on collision. Colliding in the wake of your decisions. X-ray vision, high definition, limited edition, over-edition. It's never gonna get listened to. You do the mathematics and you'll choke and pop up a kaleidoscope. Living in this life. Living in a life. Living a big fucking life. Living in this life is more ridiculous as time goes by. More ridiculous as time goes by. Living a big fucking life. It's more ridiculous as time goes by. More ridiculous as time goes by. Hey, but being made of money doesn't make you anybody special. Being made of money doesn't make you anybody special. It makes you a lot of phony friends, and in the end, you'll just be a free flow freak show. It can't go forever on the down low. I found that feature that induced an epileptic seizure. Hey, you walk into the room looking like a foreign creature. Living a big fucking lie. It's more ridiculous. It's more ridiculous. It's more ridiculous as time goes by. Sit back down if you can't stand it. I'm not demanding it. It's just inferred. I'm only listening to your words. Sit back down if you can't stand it. It's a split-second decision. Where there's an itch, you scratch out a living. Second hand is ticking. The plot thickens. You gotta be careful what you're wishing for. You're on an independent mission. Be careful what you're wishing. As you embark with a partial smile, just press into your world of denial like a head-on collision. A head-on collision. Head-on. A head-on collision. Head-on collision. And I'm getting some sun on my skin today. Getting me that vitamin D or whatever they call it. I don't even really call it that. I just call it getting, kissed by God. Why do we have to label them? There's a vitamin that we call D. There's a vitamin for every letter. Really? So God sat there and he's like, I'm going to make a vitamin for every letter. In the beginning, God said, let there be the English language so I can speak stuff into existence with it. And it was good. And he did. I know I'm Dr. Bass backwards and everything, but are we sure that we didn't create God in man's own image? What are the chances of that being more close to be the truth than the other way around? I don't know. Maybe like half of one, 6 dozen of the other. Does that make any sense? No, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. That's about the same difference. Same thing. It's equal. It could be either or 50-50. You can't say 51-50. That's what a crazy person would do. You can't have more than 100%, can you? This is 4,000% larger of an increase. I think you can have all kinds of percentages. I mean, I'm confused about that one thing. I thought there was only 100% allowed, but then be like, we have a 500% increase. And so are they misusing that idea? Or is it just like, can it be both ways? It can be this way and that way at the same time, where it's like, there's only 100% available. You can't go beyond that. But we have a 400% increase in heart attacks and we don't know why. Well, here's what's not true about that is that you're only supposed to have 100% available to play with. Okay. And we know why there's more heart attacks. It's pretty fucking obvious. But that's just for a different conversation. We're talking about percentages. Can you multiply percentages and have more than 100%? Because I'm just always confused about that. I'm like, people, I understand what they're saying. We have a 400% increase. It means like 100% increase would have been one thing, but we had 4 times that. So that's 400%. I thought there was only 100% increase allowed. 100% is all we got to work with. Am I not understanding something here? I'm probably not understanding something. That's usually what's going on. Because when I find things to be inconsistent, it's usually me. I'm just this weird bass backwards guy. I can't like see the straightforwards reality. I'm always like, are you sure the Earth is a big ball spinning around the sun? Because it seems like we're sitting here while the sun spins around us. I mean, I know that's some bass backwards thinking, but that's just what I'm experiencing. Deep thoughts. Flat Earth is just about being honest, man. It's not about being correct. I think it's correct because I'm being honest. If I was being dishonest, I could say a bunch of other things that are supposed to be correct, but then I'd be dishonest because I don't believe those things. See, they tell you all this stuff, and it's like, they don't tell you have to believe it. They just tell you this is the answer to the question. Okay. So it's like when someone asks you what you think, well, now you can give your own honest what you think, but like the answer is a whole different story. But what I think is this story. So it's like it's not that I'm incorrect. I can be correct if you want me to, but I'm just being honest. It's two different things. It's like apparently, because my honest report of Earth would be saying that it's a flat, non-rotating Earth, because that's how I treat it. That's how I experience it. However, I know that the correct answer is that it's a Earth that's orbiting and rotating around the sun as the sun travels through the Milky Way, as the Milky Way travels through the galaxy, the universe, and all this crazy motion that's supposed to be taking place that I'm not experiencing. I'm just somehow being blessed with the benefits of all those motions. Like I don't feel them though. I'm just experiencing the result of them, and it's rather grand because I don't have to feel any of that motion. I just have to sit here and enjoy a nice calm summer day. I'm not in motion. You can say the whole system is if you want, but like how are you going to prove that without going outside the system to see that's fucking what's happening? You can't. I mean, that's the thing. That's why people that are as smart as Einstein were quoted to having said, I've come to the conclusion that we can't measure Earth's motion from within the Earth frame of reference. And that's a pretty smart thing to say. And that's very true and factual. It's backed in factual logic. Because how are you going to be able to differentiate the motion if you're fucking locked within it? Like, you can't. That's why we treat the Earth as though we're flat and stationary, because it might as well be. And so, if that's the case, and the only evidence that we really have that it isn't that is these astronauts that won't come to our conversation for the past 10 years. You know, because we're basically calling them fucking liars, you know, and it's become a thing. It's not like we're a fraction, like a community anymore. It's a fucking percentage of society. So it's about time they start joining the conversation here and be like, no, you guys are wrong. What do we got to do to prove it to you? You know, like that's all they need to do. But if they wanted to put an end to this, which apparently they don't, they like being thought of as liars, apparently. Like if I was one of them, I'd be like, hey, fucking hold on a second, man. What the fuck, you guys? No. I'd have tuned in and be like, wait, these guys are calling me a liar? No, we're not going to have that. Because I'm a hero. You know, I'd be like, come on, man, let's put an end to this. What do I got to do? I'll give you my phone number. I'll bring you to space with me on my phone. You guys can call me whenever you want. I'll show you at the window, you know, what I got to do. I'll do that for starters. I'd be like, fuck yeah. All of a sudden, I'm starting to believe in it. If somebody would do that for us, you know, they wouldn't even have to go through it. I mean, all of a sudden, I'd start to believe it. You know what I mean? I just need something to sink my teeth into, man, because we lost faith in all that shit. If an astronaut wanted to come on a Flat Earth podcast, be like, come on, guys. I'm your friend. I'm a hero. People think of me as a hero. I don't want to be thought of as a fucking liar. What do I got to do to make this? It's got to stop, you know? What do I got to do? I'm your friend. I don't got nothing to hide, you know? Just come to the conversation. It's been going on for a while now. There's a reason why we haven't stopped. You want to put an end to it. If you want to not be thought of as a liar by a percentage of society, well, then all you have to do is join the podcast and be like, hey, what do I got to do? If I was you, I'd give my phone number to the most popular Flat Earth podcast and be like, okay, I'm going to space whenever the future day, because astronauts go to space all the time, right? They go to the fucking ISS, right? So I'm going to the ISS in this date, and then I'm going to call you when I'm on my way there, and you guys can look. I'll do a FaceTime call, and you guys can watch the whole thing. I'll show you out the window whenever you want. And when I'm up there, I'm going to have to be busy doing science. We do a lot of science, you know, but I'll still have my phone. You can call me if I'm not busy, you know. I'll make a point to call you every day if you want, you know. I'll show you out the fucking cupola and shit. You know, we can try to do some kind of synchronized thing where you light up a firework when we're going over you. You know, maybe we'll see it. You know, like come on. All of a sudden, I would start to believe it. all it would take. It's just some human interaction. But no, we're just these crazy fucks. Nobody wants to listen to us or talk to us. What's the thing, man? We're growing. Every day there's more flat earthers, which means every day there's less people that believe that shit. We're not losing. It's like we're not fighting. We're just putting our foot down, being like, no, that's fake. Fuck you. Prove it then. That ISS shit, that's fake. Look all the hairspray in that girl's hair. Give me a fucking break already. That's fucking sad. It's not gravity, that's an ugly hairdo. How stupid they must feel. How pathetic. They better start proving that shit right now. I'm just gonna go on and tell everybody it's fake from now on, which is what I've been doing for some time. I know I'm not very popular, but still, nobody's tried to prove it yet. All they'd have to do is take me on the rocket with them virtually. It can't be that hard. I mean, they make communications from the ISS all the time, so it's like I'm led to believe you'll get reception all the way there and back. You know, if you got reception up there and you got reception here, why wouldn't you have reception all the way up? So if you can take me up there with you, and then I'll start believing it, and I'll start telling people it's real. But until then, no, it's fake. It's fake as fuck, and that's why they're never gonna do that. Prove me wrong. Please. It's not like I enjoy being thought of as a fucking crazy person. I'm just a critical thinker, which means you look at something as if it's already bullshit. That's what critical. When you're looking at somebody critically, you're critiquing. You know, you're looking at somebody critically, like I already think this person's full of shit. So now let's see what you got to say. You know, that's what thinking critically is. It's not thinking like, oh, I'm going to be neutral about this and see. Oh, why would they lie? No, it's not thinking critically, dude. Thinking critically is like they're lying. Let's see if they're not lying. Try to show me that they're not lying because I think they're lying. That's what thinking critically is. I know it's kind of cynical, but it's just that's what the word critical means. Just think about it. I'm being critical of you right now, which it's not flattering when someone's being critical of you. It means they're kind of calling you out on your shit, you know. Because everybody has shit to be called out on, so anybody can be critical towards anybody else if they felt like it. Critical means it's a word that means something. So when you're thinking critically, you're thinking of it as though it's bullshit kind of already. So that's what you have to do if you want to understand why flat earthers don't believe in space. Look at your space presentations you get and tell me if you think that shit looks fucking real. Because I tell you, it's fake. I saw the rocket go up in the air. Oh yeah, well, I've fucking lit fireworks before too. Big fucking deal. That's not the point, man. We're talking about space, okay? Notice how that rocket always arches at a certain point? And that's right when it cuts to CGI. you just gotta just be honest. That's pretty fucking sus, right? Why does it always cut to CGI right when it starts to arc? Because if it didn't cut to CGI, you would see how that arc, which is an arc, which means it comes back down. It doesn't go to space. It cuts to CGI at the arc because that's where it goes back down and doesn't go to space. I mean, it's that type of shit that makes flat earthers, all right? I mean, just try to understand us. These guys, these globers, I don't think they're genuine people. I think they're mostly bots. And I think there's actual ones that have been spurred to like fucking never concede to anything that the flat earthers say. And just like they have a database where every time a flat earth thing pops up in an algorithm, it goes directly to them. Because people that are curious about flat earth, they're not going to have my videos served up to them at all. They'll never find me. But these globers, they're there right away. Right the fuck away. But I have to put flat earth in the title. You know, they don't come to any of my other videos that don't have flat earth in the title. But the second I post it, if it's got flat earth in the title, they're there leaving all kinds of fucking dumb comments, you know? And it's like, so how do they find it? You know, I mean, it's like, because the people that are subbed to me don't even see it, you know? It's like, well, how do they have it all? They have a special database. And why would you have a special database? Why exactly is that? You know, is there other special databases that you guys know about that because I'm not very hip to that kind of thing. It's like, why in the fuck do these guys get my videos right away? You got to think about this shit. It's like, if you follow that thought all the way down, it's kind of like, what in the fuck? Why? Do they really care that much? I'm a nobody. For real. Like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Do they care that much about it? I got like 10 views, you know? What the fuck are these guys doing here? How do they even find my video? That's sus, dude. I mean, yeah, they might be subbed to my channel or something, but like, but why? Why would they be subbed to me? They don't believe this shit that I'm saying. It's just fucking weird, man. It's just weird. They really feel that driven. It's like, that's kind of a rare person, I think, that would be like that, you know? But no, there's like a dozen of them. I guess I pulled them all out of the woodwork, you know? Me and my hard driving content that's really changing the lives of so many Americans. All 5 of them. I mean, it's just weird that I get such fucking like attention from like haters, and like I get censored all the time. It's like, what the fuck? Who am I, man? What the hell? Shit's fucking bizarre, man. I'm like, what did I just walk into, you know? I don't think the world's really like that, you know? That's not very realistic. There's something weird going on there. It's not normal. It's just, it doesn't check out as like normal shit to me. Why would I be censored? I mean, what am I doing? It's like, you think I'd be like showing my, you know, privates or something, or doing some pervert? No, I mean, I'm censored. All I'm doing is what I've been doing here. Like, nothing different. Am I that crazy? Am I that sketchy? I need to be censored. Am I that dangerous? Because I don't like hearing a vaccine commercial while I'm shopping. Is that worth censoring? It probably is. You might detract from our vaccine uptake. Well, I hope so, because that seems like a shady goal to have. Is that why you're censoring me for real? That's fucking sketchy, man. You gotta think about your shit. That's not very honorable. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be in like the eyes of the average. Oh, well, that's important. Everybody has to be immune to things, or they will get sick and die and spread disease. How are they going to spread disease if you're all immunized against it? Like, why are you so worried about it? Like, I mean, because you're so caring about everybody. It's so altruistic. I don't want you to get sick. I won't get sick because I'm vaccinated. Where's that attitude? I don't see that. It's always like this, you're not, oh my God, stay away. It's like, well, what? I thought you were, though. So what are you so freaked out about? You must not have much faith in your whole thing, or you're just thinking about it incorrectly or something. There's something wrong with you, basically. Because, I mean, you should be totally confident if you believe in it. But instead, you're like, oh no, don't come over here if you're unvaccinated. Right? Because it doesn't work. I mean, so why are you fucking so pro then if you know it doesn't work? Your logic just flops in on itself and eats itself. It's like that snake. It's like an Ouroboros. That's your logic. Not your logic, but the other people's. You know, there's other stupid people that won't listen to what I'm saying. So it's pointless for me to say it. Well, not completely pointless, because I'm venting. I got no one to talk to, so I talk to you. Better get your jabs, though. Just in case. That's what I love about all that shit. It's all about just in case. This is just in case. It's like, it's the whole mentality going on there. Oh, just in case. Just in case. Just to be safe. You can never be too safe. Here, let me stick these needles in you. You're not thinking critically about this, are you? We had like a nation full of fucking shills. Everybody in the whole fucking, everyone involved in the media and politics, everyone is singing the same song. Go get these jabs. They are safe and effective. Well, none of them, not one single one of them, knew the ingredients in them. So they were just lying to you. They did not know they were safe. How could they know if they don't know what it is? You can't know what something is, then you can't know that it's safe. You can't tell me that it's safe to put something in my body if you don't know what it is. If you don't know what it is, how can you know that it's safe to put in your body? I'm just trying to figure out the logic here. You lied. Everyone that said that was safe to do was lying. They were just taking information that had been told to them and regurgitating it as though it was fact. when in reality, nobody knew what it was. They didn't have to disclose 50% of the ingredients. That was like that's understood, that's fact. So everybody lied. Did anybody come back out and say sorry? No. I still get censored for bringing it up. I know it's so last year and so like old news, but like still like dude, twisted shit, man. Shit wasn't safe. And sure as fuck wasn't necessary. No. It's like they want to fix what ain't broken to protect you from something that doesn't exist. They want to fix what ain't broken to protect you from something that doesn't exist. We need more arms. We need more arms. That's what we need. We need more arms. Protect you from disease. We need more arms. That's what we need. We need more arms. Please. They want to fix what ain't broken to protect you from something that doesn't exist. What's going on here in this chat? Zox, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Zox. Cool. What you guys doing? Anything interesting happening in the truther networks? I'm not an upwards earther. Nope. I'm going to hold on to the whole honest thing for as long as I can. I honestly don't see any merit to that, unless I'm just going to be contrarian, in which case, why bother listening to me? I'm being honest, I don't feel the earth moving. I don't see any evidence of it moving. I'm being honest, I don't see any curvature happening. I don't see any evidence of that. I don't see any reason why that should be happening. So I'm just being honest. I'm a flat, non-rotating earther. And until something happens that like throws any of that into question, I'm just gonna have to stick to my guns. I mean, I don't think there's any demonstration you could show me really other than taking me to space and showing me outside of this frame of reference. But that's obviously not going to happen. So we're just kind of stuck with this honest report of it being flat, non-rotating. And you can take my honest report and factor that into your aviation models, and it'll work out fine. So it's probably pretty good information to have, actually. When it comes down to like real world application and people's lives being at stake, you can take my information and it's going to work out just fine. So it's actually pretty good information. There is real world application to this information that I have to offer. It's honest report of what Earth is. It's not stupid. It's not it's not incorrect. It's like that's what they say, the globe map simplified equals flat non-rotating Earth. So it's like that's what you do with math. You simplify it, so that's the correct answer actually. You can take that and apply it to your models of your airplane, and it's going to work out just fine. Trust me, that's how they've been doing it this whole time. So it's worthy information to keep under your hat. All that other information has no real world application unless you're an astronaut. But they're apparently so elitist that they don't even ever want to come to this conversation. So for the rest of us, as far as we're concerned, that information is a moot point, meaning it's pointless to know. It's a waste of fucking breath telling people all that shit, which is why I'm not bothering. I know it. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. I know that information. I'm not incapable of knowing that information. It doesn't mean I have to believe it. Thinking critically, that's how you should look at it. I'm a critical thinker. I mean, is that so wrong? I think of things critically. Even the place where I live. I just have to be honest and then just be honest, even though it's kind of embarrassing being a flat, non-rotating earther. I know I'm supposed to be thought of as a retard, but still, I'm sticking to my guns until I see some reason to not stick to them. And I should suggest that everybody who thinks the same way I do does. I mean, it's like, don't cave in to some other idea if you don't have any reason to. because we just got to stick to our guns. I mean, we're going to be let off in some other fucking. I mean, thinking that the Earth is a globe, it's like it really doesn't do you much harm, but like as a society, it kind of does because you're under the impression that you're in a whole different environment, and there's probably things that we could be, and just like there's creativity that could be utilized more appropriately if we understood the environment we're in better. Like, the idea of an ether where there's like this like non-tangible like essence of reality that we exist within, like information can be like sort of pulled out of it, and it just sort of defies our idea of our understanding of reality to the point where it's like it's not even really acknowledged now. It's like the ether. I mean, perhaps that's where we all fucking that's where matter resonates out of the ether. Like, how do we even know what the fuck? How did this all started? Our idea of how this all started is such a joke. Scientific understanding of Earth, gravity, basically, gravity is how this happened. And because there was these big balls of fire burning and this nuclear bomb burning in space, and everything coalesced, and life sort of sprung out of that. And it's a long story. Now we have like these gas planets. There's like these big spheres of gas that form that the sun reflects off of from trillions of miles away, and we can see gas that's in a spherical shape that's reflecting light. How that's happening, I don't know. It's colored gas. That's how it's reflecting light from a trillion miles away. I don't know, but it is, okay? It's a gas planet, and we can see it every night. So that's the proof that it's real. And it's got moons, by the way, that aren't gas. They're solid. And they have moons and they fly around it, and we have footage of it. It's called Jupiter. Hello, where have you been? The footage we have of Jupiter debunks space. It's hilarious. Whatever, like, I think it's some probe that went out to the edge of our solar system. It's gone beyond. I mean, maybe it's like what is it, the Explorer? I forget what, Cassini maybe, or I don't know what it was, but they have footage of Jupiter. I used to watch what's Rodrigo's channel. Rodrigo Ferrari Nunez. He's great. I love that guy. I think his channel is called In Fiction We Trust. Yeah. He's the guy that had Space Crack. Shout out to Rodrigo. He's awesome. But he would show the footage of Jupiter sometimes, just whenever he felt like debunking space for anyone that was like a newcomer. He'd be like, you can't believe this is real. Because it would show the footage of it where it's like this probe apparently was flying by Jupiter, and you could see Jupiter in all its glory, all the storms, but the storms they were static, the planet was rotating, and you could see the moons coming around it and stuff. And then there's another shot of Jupiter from the same probe, but just in this other shot is a video, but the planet was no longer rotating how it was in the other video. And the storms that were static in the other video, now they were rotating and swirling around and moving, but the planet was still. And so it's like as if the planet just put on its brakes and that sent the storms into motion, which is obviously bullshit. So it's like just that one clip of space presentation, right? That's all it takes for you to think, okay, there is some bullshit afoot. There is some serious bullshit here. They pass those off as if it's real. Still to this day. I mean, it is such a blatant, fraudulent presentation, and people still defend it. What the fuck, man? That's why there's more and more flat earthers, I'm telling you. Because if you actually look at the stuff, you don't even have to be that critical of thinking. You just have to look at it and be like, oh, well, that's a problem. That shouldn't be happening. And if that's what you say is real, well, that's not real. That's not. From what you tell me about things, that's not what we would see. That's fake. And I can't believe you would even try to pass that off. How dumb are these people? It's fucking sad. It's not even that great of a hoax. It's not even that believable if you look at it just with objective eyes. You don't even have to be that critical of it. Just look at it and you just think it's fucking fake. Obviously, that's not real. It's funny as fuck that somebody would think that is. That's why, I mean, you don't see that footage that often. I mean, that's just that one bit of those two clips right there debunks the whole entire space narrative. If they're gonna fake pass that shit off as being real, it's safe to say that the whole thing is phony. I mean, you could go on and believe in everything if you want, but after seeing that, that was enough for me. I mean, I don't. That is such a drastic, fucking fraudulent presentation. It's like the implications of that are so enormous. If you can't really just come to terms with that, well then you got a long ways to go before you end up where I'm at. Which is, I don't believe a fucking lick of that shit, and nobody really should, because it's just propaganda. It's stupid. It's like your science is being spoon-fed to you from television, where anything is possible. Superman, superheroes are real. You don't believe in superheroes? I saw them on TV. Of course they're real. It was on TV. All right. Well, thanks for watching my show. I'm going to go do something else now. Love you guys. Keep it real. Keep it flat.